All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory be to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash. And I want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, the rule well, blessings to the hopeful elect, listening and learning, teaching this word also in sincerity and truth, in the hopes that we may edify and feed the lambs of Yahweh Shai, especially in these last days. And in this video, I just wanted to go into a quick one. Which was put up on February the 5th. You know, this article here that you see by Reuters. And it's entitled, Trump says he wants the Ukraine to supply US with rare earths. All right. Washington, February 3rd, Reuters. It says, US President Donald Trump said on Monday that he wants Ukraine to supply the US with rare earth minerals as a form of payment for financially supporting the country's war efforts against Russia. You know, and I remember like years ago, the Oppositor, he was talking about the phrase, cui bono, which which pretty much means which is a Latin phrase, which means who stands to benefit. Okay, so when you gotta think and you gotta critically think and you gotta understand, you gotta say, well, who stands to benefit, of the war or the expansion of, the borders involved with, or the NATO borders, basically poking the bear, which is known as Russia in the Bible, Revelation the 13th chapter. Who stands to benefit with this? And you're starting to see on mainstream media of who stands to benefit, because now they're coming out and saying that they want, as a form of payment for their help, they want rare earth minerals, right, over there in Ukraine. Okay. And, right here you go, a cui bono, all right, cui bono, in English, to whom is it a benefit? It is a Latin phrase, all right, about identifying crime suspects. And we know the word crime goes back to crimson, which is red, and the scriptures speak about that red horse, okay, in Revelation the 6th chapter, which I'm going to pull up right now. All right, and this is nothing but pretty much the hammer of the whole earth at it again, which is America, pushing their weight around, and they're looking to the great red hope known as Donald Trump now to pretty much set the record straight, because they had a hopeless scenario in Joe Biden. They created a chaotic scenario with Joe Biden, and now they're going to establish order, the new world order, through Donald Trump. Okay. So this is Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. It says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And that red horse goes back to Esau, Edom, and his power structure. Okay, when you go to the word Edom, it goes back to the Hebrew Adawam, which is red, and a horse represents power. So they've been, given the power of the earth. And the scripture says the power of the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. In Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. It says, and that they should kill one another, and it was given unto him a great sword. Okay. So Esau, his blessing is the sword. Okay. And he will stop at nothing to making sure, that his new world order is fulfilled. All right. And that includes, genocide. That includes pretty much dropping bombs on nations in order to, expand his economic influence in the world. Okay. But the thing is, the scriptures speak about, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. See, everyone's talking about this, Trump's going to make everything great again and this and that and whatever. But the scriptures, speak differently. The scriptures speak on how, how America is going down, and America is so divided now, to the point where you got this wokeism is getting attacked by Donald Trump and his cabinet at the moment, because they're talking about reforming the education system, which through the Democrats, they introduce a lot of this alphabet community, a lot of these drag queens and that, and pretty much Donald Trump's coming there and said there's only two genders. He's coming there and said, look, we're going to reform the education system. And now they're introducing AI in the midst of that. So you see how the same formulas, or of Ordo ab Chao is being recycled over and over again in order for them to come forth with these magical solutions, even though they came up with the chaotic situation. Okay, so we have to be able to read between the lines. But again, going back to this, Trump says that he wants Ukraine to supply US with rare earths. That's pretty much poking the bear even further. And not only that, now Trump's just held a meeting with Netanyahu and talking about, look, we're gonna occupy the Gaza Strip. In fact, let's see if we can pull up an article on that as well. Trump, because this is all over the news, man. Trump's done a lot of things since he's only just got into power, and he's done a lot of things already. It says, it's from The Guardian 60 minutes ago. Trump's declaration: U.S. will take over Gaza Strip sparks global condemnation. All right, so things are definitely happening. All right, things are definitely popping off right now. All right, and the scripture said that the least of the flock shall draw them out, and that's talking about them Amalekites, them small hats. All right, now if they're the chosen people, all right, over there in the land of Israel, then why is there war happening on the earth? Because the scripture tell you that in Isaiah the 2nd chapter, that when the chosen people are placed in that land, that there's going to be war no more. And I'm going to prove that in Isaiah 2:2. It says, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established on the top of the mountains. And the mountain represents a government, right? You got G7 summit meeting. The summit is a peak of a mountain, right? So that represents a government, right? But it says the mountain of the Lord's house, right? Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, shall be established on the top of the mountains and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. So the hills are talking about these nations, okay? And they're going to flow unto the mountain of the Lord, meaning the government of Israel, meaning they're going to have to take orders from us. All right? And that ain't talking about these small hats, man. All right? Because at the end of the day, ain't no one taking orders from them, because they're trying to fight against them. But when we get into power, there ain't going to be no fight. There's going to be war no more. We're going to read that, because they're going to, look, man, they're going to understand that we can't war against these guys. They got too much power. All right? But you see, within Esau's kingdom, there's resistance. All right? His kingdom is massively divided. All right? And that division is an indication of the downfall of any empire. Because the scripture says, divided. All right, the scripture says, let me go ahead and get Luke 11 and 17. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. All right, and you got the Russians and the Americans. They're both Edomites, but they're divided. Okay, now we don't know behind the scenes. Putin and Trump, they could be shaking hands. They could be on, Zoom meetings. They could be on fucking FaceTime. They could be laughing and joking. We don't really know. But at the end of the day, the Lord is gonna put the spirit of ultimate division in their hearts to launch missiles on one another, because that's biblical prophecy. All right, so we're definitely seeing sides being chosen. We're definitely seeing things taking place, right, out in the open, of pure division, even down to the citizens. One person's into the alphabet community, one person is straight, one person's into this, one person's into that. One person's into, allowing immigrants to stay in the country, and another group of people are saying get them out. All right, troops are being sent to the border, and they're doing border patrols, ICE, immigration. They're, pretty much they're moving them out by force. All right, a lot of Jake are getting mixed up in that. You got Haitians in there, you got fucking Latinos in there, Mexicans in there, so-called, they're getting moved out by force. And they could have had babies over there in America, started a family and that and whatever, but they're straight up grabbing up men and kicking them out of the country. So this is, look, man, we're coming into a time of Jacob's trouble, man. All right, 2nd Ezra 15, 2nd Ezra 16. So this is causing division, man. All right, and there's going to be a civil war. All right, because you got a lot of the Democrats through the Democratic Party. They were pumped off of what Biden allowed them to do, but then Trump is pretty much, crashing that party. You saw, especially with these women, you saw a lot of feminists You know, they were jumping up and down like sport brats, screaming at the fact that Trump is coming into power, because now he's pretty much, I think in a couple of states, you know, I think certain women can get the death penalty, you know, for having abortions. And these women that have been fed feminism for so long, they're not really with that. So what you're seeing is division in ideologies. What you're seeing is division in lifestyles, division in belief systems. Okay, and that divide is causing the downfall of this kingdom, this empire. And that shows you how, you know, bad the Lord is, because at the same time, the Lord is creating the divide, but he's also allowing Esau to create the chaos, to create the divide. You know? So Esau, man, see, he thinks he's operating on his time scale, right? When, you know, evidently, you know, perpetually, he's always operating, you know, within the most highest time scale, which is a beautiful thing. And that's why we have this wisdom and knowledge, you know, it's keeping us stable to be able to sit back and report on it and do these videos to tell you what's really going on. Okay, ultimately, through biblical prophecy. So this is Luke 11:17. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every house divided against a house falleth. If Satan, and even the Russians, they've even got a nuclear missile called the Satan II, right? So they're letting you know who they are, right? If Satan also be divided against himself, because hold on a minute, them Russians, they're Edomites too, no? Okay, them Russians are Edomites, man. Okay, you got, you know, Russia trying to establish that old Soviet Union and that and whatever, and Ukraine, okay, they don't want Ukraine to become a part of NATO, all right? They don't want them to be allied with the West. They don't want them to be allied with America. So that's division. That's Satan being divided against Satan. And now it's coming out through that cui bono, that Latin phrase, who stands to benefit. So America, man, they got their eyes on their natural earth, rare earth minerals, man. Okay, which is going to bring America. See, Trump, he's been set up to make America great again, but he needs to, he can only do that by talking about slapping tariffs on nations, taking come on, man, natural earth resources from certain so-called allies, all right, overseas and that and whatever. This is what's going on, all right, which is bringing even more division. It says, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. So this man is divided, man. All right, look at this. Going back to what's going on over there in the so-called Middle East. Global reaction to Trump's declaration. U.S. will take over Gaza Strip. President Donald Trump said the United States would take over the Gaza Strip after Palestinians are resettled elsewhere. And this is going to cause more tension with them Arab nations. All right, which the word Arab just means mixed. All right, spiritual. This was put up 21 minutes ago. 1443. Spiritual. Okay. And look, this proves what I've said. Look at the Saudi Arabian Foreign Ministry. What have they said? It says Saudi Arabia rejects any attempts to displace the Palestinians from their land. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has affirmed the kingdom's position is a clear and explicit manner that does not allow for any interpretation under any circumstances. Right? Even the UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, look at that. Palestinians must be allowed home. They must be allowed to rebuild, and we should be with them in that rebuild on the way to a two-state solution. So even that's division. So what you're seeing right now, we're in the time of the 10 toes, man. In Daniel, the statue in Daniel, the 2nd chapter, partly strong, partly broken. There's the 10 toes. We're in the time of the bottom of the statue, the 10 toes, which is dealing with the EU, NATO, okay? See, what you're going to understand is, you know, which America is not a part of that beast. America is the whore in Revelation, the 17th chapter, that controls the reins of the beast, which the beast is NATO and the EU, but America controls the reins. But soon these nations are going to get pissed off with the whore that's controlling the reins, and they're going to buck up against the whore, and they're going to flip her up like a horse bucks. Yeah, America, right, is about to get bucked off, right, the back of the beast. Okay, and why do I say that? Let's go to Revelation 17, since we mentioned that. Okay, right, Revelation 17, And 16 it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, okay, which goes back to the EU, okay, the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast consists of NATO and the EU. These shall hate the whore, which the whore exclusively is America. The woman upon the beast is America. The woman is not the beast. The woman controls the beast, right? So these shall hate the whore, shall hate America, right? And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So this is the time that we're coming into, man. And we've done breakdowns on, whole breakdowns on the whole chapter of Revelation, all the breakdowns of prophecies. We've done breakdowns on these things, all right? And we've been taught this by our elders and apostles, and we're letting you know. And that's why the scripture says, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. Because no matter what happens, not all these distractions and stuff and bread and circuses that are going on around you, like the word of the Lord stands sure, okay? And the prophecies reign supreme, all right? And the prophecies tower over any other thing that's going on the earth. Everything else is just vanity, because the word of the Lord is constant, all right? Ain't no one going to be able to interject and add on and take away from the prophecies that are written in this book. It's over for this man's kingdom. Okay? Just like it was over for Babylon. Just like it was over for the Medo-Persians. Just like it was over for the Greeks. All right? Or the first leg of Rome. The pagan Roman Empire. Just like it was over, and that's going to be over for the second leg of Rome. Right? And that's why they have something called the Club of Rome. Right, or the Treaty of Rome, which was, came about in I think they spoke about it in 1957, but it came into effect in 1958, I believe. Okay, so why would they call it the Treaty of Rome, the EEC, the European Economic Communities? But guess what? They're getting pissed off with the whore, which is America. So they're about to burn hell with fire. All right, and speaking of that fire, let's go into Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. So there's going to be fuel for the fire, man, in America. And the people are going to be the fuel. That's why the Lord said in Isaiah 34 that the Lord is going to have a sacrifice in Bozrah. Okay, which Bozrah was the ancient capital city of the Edomites, which we spoke about Esau, Edom. We spoke about the earth being given into their hand, which are the wicked. Okay, so this man's kingdom is divided. It's over, and it won't stand. All right, so let's go back to Isaiah 2. All right, it says, verse 3, and many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. Right? Now, if on one hand, biblical prophecy is saying this, and they're saying that the so-called Jews are saying that they're the chosen people, but then on the other hand, Saudi Arabia rejects any attempts to displace the Palestinians. Today, they're bucking up against the small hats. You think that when we're in our power, you're going to have any nations bucking up against us? That's not going to happen. And you know why? There's a precept that says that when we're in rulership, in Deuteronomy the 4th chapter, that these nations are going to look up to us, man. Right? Because of our statutes. And they're going to see how righteous we're living. Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord, Yahweh my power, have commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes. So this links up directly with Isaiah the 2nd chapter. All the nations shall flow unto it. What? Unto it what? The mountain of the Lord. The government of the Lord, man. Right? Which Israel's going to be on top. That's why the scripture says the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and shall possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. And the saints are the Israelites. So these nations are going to see our understanding. Right? It says, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great who have the Most High Yahweh so nigh unto them, as the Lord our power is in all things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I set before you this day? I got a precept. So they're going to be looking up to us, man. All right, look how righteous they're living. Oh, what nation has laws so righteous? Because everything's going to go back to biblical laws and how, the earth is supposed to be governed, right, by the Israelites. okay, in a righteous vibration. And it's not happening right now. And why? The scripture says, Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Right now, you got uproars of the people over there in the States. You know, you got people protesting, flying the Mexican flags. You know, talking about don't you know, stop ICE, stop the deportations and that, or the immigrants and that. That's uproars of the people. You got uproars of the people talking about free Palestine. You got them flying the Palestinian. Listen, man, the wicked are in authority, and that's why the people are mourning. It's that simple. It's not hard to understand. That's why the earth being given into the hand of the wicked, what you're seeing right now, right, is that demonic vice grip, right, on the world, on the earth, right, which is about to get pried loose by Yahweh Shai when he comes back. And that's when these nations, they're going to narrowly look upon this devil and say, what? Since thou art cut down, no fellow has come up against us. Right? The earth is about to go back to a peaceful state. But right now, we're in a time of war. We're not in the time of peace. And this is the reason why you're having all these divisions and all these arguings and things happening. You know, and Esau's kingdom being divided. They're fighting among themselves. And this is all happening according to biblical prophecy. All right? Look at this. Spanish foreign minister, French ministry spokesperson, German. Man, come on, look at this. Even the Baerbock said the Gaza Strip belongs to the Palestinians and their expulsion would be unacceptable. That's German. That's the German foreign minister. Listen to the French foreign minister. France reiterates that its position to any forced displacement of the Palestinian population of Gaza, which will contribute to a serious violation of international law. That's French, that's Germany, that's France, that's the UK. Let's read Spain. I want to be clear on this. Gaza is the land of the Gazan Palestinians. That's Spain. Okay, so these are the members of the EU. Okay, these are the members of the EU right here. So what you're seeing is this kingdom, right? This racist Edomite empire is actually divided. Okay, and these 10 horns that we just read in Revelation 17, they shall hate the whore and shall burn her with fire. There's going to come a time, right, where the allies of America are going to turn on them. And it's that simple. It's not hard to understand. All right, so let's conclude this lesson by going back to Isaiah 2. Okay, verse 4, and he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke among many people, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. But what do you have right now? You have nothing but war. So how can they be the chosen people? All right. Isaiah 1:7. Your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. That's what's happening in our land, all right? The land of the saints, which are the Israelites. That land of Israel belongs to the true people, all right? And when we're sitting that land, right, by the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, okay, there's going to be war no more. Because we're going to be given the power to be able to stomp out these nations, right? And establish a new kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness. And that's what we're waiting for, man. All right. So anyway, with that, I just wanted to do a quick lesson. You know, going into a couple of things, you know, a couple of articles. I kind of mixed up 2 articles in one, but that's how the spirit works. You know, who stands to benefit, man? Rare earth minerals over there in Ukraine. Esau's kingdom is divided. It's over. All right. And we got next, basically. Anyway, so with that, I'm going to say shalom.